the underestimation. Dr. Sarah Chen pressed her palm against the observation deck window, watching the twin suns of Kepler 442 paint the asteroid field in shades of gold and crimson. The mining station hummed quietly around her, a testament to human engineering nestled in the void between stars. She had spent 3 years here, studying the unique crystalline formations that grew in zero gravity, formations that had caught the attention of every major galactic power. The Galactic Trade Federation had classified their operation as minimal security risk. The official report, filed in triplicate across 17 different bureaucratic departments, stated that humans posed no significant threat to established galactic order. Technologically inferior, the document read. Psychologically unstable, under pressure, recommended classification, harmless. Sarah had laughed when she first read that assessment. She remembered her 20 years in Earth's military engineering corps. The innovations born from necessity, the solutions crafted from scraps and stubbornness. The GTF evaluators had clearly never met a human with their back against the wall. Dr. Chen to the communications bay. Zara Okafor's voice crackled through the intercom. We've got incoming signals. Multiple ships, unknown configuration. Sarah made her way through the station's corridors, past the mining equipment and processing units that had been humming non-stop for months. The Kepler 442b operation was small by galactic standards, housing only 847 humans across 3 connected platforms. They extracted rare metals, studied exotic phenomena, and lived quiet lives at the edge of known space, in the communications bay. Zara sat hunched over her console, fingers dancing across holographic displays. The young woman had joined the mission, fresh out of university, eager to explore the galaxy. Her expertise in quantum communications had proven invaluable in maintaining contact with Earth and other human colonies scattered across the sector. What do we have? Sarah asked, settling into the chair beside her. 15 ships, heavy cruiser class. They're broadcasting on standard raid frequencies. Zara's dark eyes reflected the scrolling data. I'm picking up syndicate signatures. There. Not here for negotiations. Captain Rex Morrison entered the bay, his weathered face grim. The former Marine had seen action in the Titan Wars before accepting the security position on Kepler 442b at 52. He still carried himself like a soldier, even in the peaceful environment of a research station. How long until they reach us? Rex asked. 18 minutes, Zara replied. They're decelerating hard. Whatever they want, they plan to stick around for it. Sarah felt the familiar tightness in her chest, the same sensation she'd experienced during combat engineering. Deployments. The galaxy might consider humans harmless, but she remembered building bridges under fire, improvising weapons from mining equipment, turning defensive positions into death traps, using nothing but ingenuity and determination. Sound general quarters. Rex ordered. I want all civilian personnel in the secure sections. Engineering teams, report to stations. We're going to show these raiders what Harmless looks like. The next 17 minutes passed in controlled chaos. The station's 847 residents moved with practiced efficiency, following emergency protocols that Rex had drilled into them monthly. Sarah found herself in the main engineering section, surrounded by mining equipment that suddenly looked very different. Through the lens of warfare, the plasma cutters, she said, speaking to Tom Bradley, the chief engineer. Can we modify them? Tom's eyes lit up with understanding. Increase the focusing array, reroute power from the gravity generators. Give me 10 minutes. You have 5. The syndicate ships arrived like a storm. 15 vessels, each one larger than the entire mining station, their hulls scarred from countless raids. They moved with the confidence of predators approaching. Prey, weapons powered but not yet firing. A transmission crackled through the station's speakers. The voice was mechanical, translated through universal communication protocols, but the arrogance was unmistakable. Human settlement designation, Kepler 4 to B. You are now under syndicate jurisdiction. Surrender your cargo and personnel for processing. Compliance will ensure minimal casualties. Resistance will result in complete annihilation. Rex activated the response channel. This is Captain Morrison of the Kepler 4 to B research station. We are a peaceful scientific operation. We have no military capabilities. The mechanical laughter that followed chilled Sarah's blood. Your species profile indicates zero threat potential. You will not resist. You cannot resist. Prepare for boarding. Sarah watched through the engineering bay's viewport as the syndicate ships began their approach. The raiders had done their homework, studying GTF assessments that painted humans as weak, disorganized, and technologically backward. They expected surrender. They expected compliance. They had never fought humans before. The first boarding pods launched from the syndicate vessels, accelerating toward the station's docking bays. Rex had anticipated this, sealing the main ports and forcing the raiders to use cutting torches. Every second of delay gave the humans more time to prepare. Sarah, how are those modifications coming? Rex's voice echoed through the engineering section. Almost ready, she replied, watching Tom make final adjustments to the plasma cutting array. The device, designed to slice through asteroid rock, had been reconfigured into something far more dangerous. We've got 6 portable units ready for deployment. The station shuddered as the first syndicate troops breached the outer hull. Sarah could hear the whine of energy weapons, the heavy footsteps of armored raiders moving through the corridors. The invaders moved with casual confidence, expecting minimal resistance from a species classified as harmless. They were about to learn how wrong the galaxy had been. The first group of syndicate raiders encountered Tom Bradley in Corridor 7. The aliens, tall and insectoid with chitinous armor, raised their weapons with dismissive arrogance. Tom stood alone, holding what appeared to be a standard mining tool. When he activated the modified plasma cutter, the beam sliced through the lead raider's armor like paper. The second alien barely had time to register surprise before Tom's improvised weapon carved through its thorax. The third raider, suddenly realizing these humans were not the helpless prey described in their briefings, tried to retreat. Tom's plasma beam found it halfway down the corridor. Similar scenes played out across the station. Zara had rigged the environmental controls to create artificial gravity wells, sending groups of raiders tumbling into prepared ambush zones. Mining charges, originally designed for asteroid excavation, had been repurposed into devastating explosives. The station's industrial equipment became weapons of war in human hands. Sarah led her team through the maintenance tunnels, moving with the tactical awareness that her military training had burned into her memory. They emerged behind a group of syndicate troops, modified mining equipment in hand. The raiders, focused on what they believed was a forward assault, never saw the attack coming. The battle raged for 2 hours. The syndicate, expecting quick capitulation, found themselves trapped in a maze of corridors turned into kill zones. Every human they encountered fought with desperate creativity, turning peaceful tools into instruments of death. The raiders' superior numbers and technology meant nothing against opponents who refused to follow the rules of engagement. Rex coordinated the defense from the command center, his voice calm despite the chaos surrounding them. Engineering Team 3, collapse Corridor 12. Medical Team, we need you in Sector 7. Sarah, can you get to the main power coupling? Sarah sprinted through the service tunnels, her modified plasma cutter humming with lethal energy. The Syndicate had tried to cut power to the station, but they didn't understand human engineering. Every system had 3 backups. Every critical component had been designed to function independently. She reached the power coupling to find 6 Syndicate raiders attempting to disable the station's defensive systems. They turned as she emerged from the access hatch, their weapons rising with mechanical precision. Sarah's plasma beam carved through the first raider before it could fire. The second managed to loose a shot that scorched the wall beside her head. She rolled behind a power conduit, her mind racing through calculations. 6 enemies, 1 human, confined space. The raiders advanced with tactical precision, but they were thinking like soldiers fighting soldiers. Sarah was thinking like an engineer solving a problem. She targeted the main power coupling, not the aliens. Her plasma beam struck the primary relay, and the entire section erupted in electrical feedback. The Syndicate raiders, their armor conducting the massive electrical surge, collapsed in smoking heaps. Sarah stood in the sparking aftermath, her ears ringing from the explosion. The station's lights flickered but held steady. Power coupling secured, she reported through her comm unit. The tide of battle turned decisively in the humans' favor. The Syndicate, expecting a quick victory against harmless opponents, found themselves outfought and outhought at every turn. Their advanced weapons and superior numbers couldn't compensate for the fundamental flaw in their intelligence. They had underestimated human ingenuity. The final group of raiders made their last stand in the main cargo bay. 12 aliens, their chitinous armor scarred from battle, formed a defensive circle as Rex and his team closed in. Their leader, a massive creature with 4 arms and predatory eyes, raised a weapon that could have vaporized half the station. Rex stepped into the open, his hands empty. You came here because you thought we were weak. Your data said we were harmless. The alien leader's translated voice crackled with fury. You are primitives. Your weapons are crude. Your tactics are desperate. You're right, Rex said, his voice carrying the weight of hard-won experience. We are desperate, and that makes us dangerous. The cargo bay lights went out. In the darkness, the humans moved with practiced coordination, their knowledge of the station's layout giving them an insurmountable advantage. The Syndicate raiders, blind and confused, fired wildly at shadows. When the lights returned, 12 alien corpses lay scattered across the cargo bay floor. The humans stood among them, their improvised weapons smoking, their faces grim with the knowledge of what they had accomplished. The Syndicate fleet, monitoring the battle through their boarding team's communications, watched their assault force disappear into silence. The massive warships, designed to intimidate and overwhelm, suddenly seemed inadequate against opponents who refused to be intimidated. A new transmission reached the station. The voice was different this time, less mechanical, more uncertain. Human settlement, this is Fleet Commander Vector. We demand the return of our personnel. Rex's response was simple and direct. Your personnel are dead. All of them. You attacked a peaceful research station and murdered innocent people. Consider this your warning. The silence that followed stretched for long minutes. Finally, the Syndicate commander spoke again, his voice carrying a note that had never appeared in any human species assessment. Fear. This is not over, humans. The galaxy will hear of this. Good, Rex replied. Make sure they hear it correctly. We're not harmless, we're not weak, and we're not going anywhere. The Syndicate fleet withdrew, their ships disappearing into hyperspace with uncharacteristic haste. They left behind something that would echo across the galaxy, the first recorded instance of humans defeating a superior alien. Forced through sheer ingenuity and determination, Sarah stood in the observation deck, watching the stars appear in the wake of the departing fleet. The station bore the scars of battle, but it endured. The humans had won, not through superior technology or overwhelming force, but through the simple refusal to surrender. She thought about the GTF assessment, the document that had classified her species as harmless. The galaxy was about to learn how wrong that assessment had been. Word would spread, carried by Syndicate survivors and intercepted communications. Other human colonies would hear the story and prepare their own defenses. The miners and researchers of Kepler 442b had fired the first shot in a war the galaxy didn't know it was fighting. They had proven that humans, when cornered, became something entirely different from the peaceful species described in official reports. As Sarah watched the stars, she knew that everything was about to change. The galaxy had ranked humanity as harmless, and now it would pay the price for that miscalculation. The peaceful research station had become the birthplace of a new galactic order, one where humans would no longer be dismissed as primitive or weak. The universe was about to discover what happened when you underestimated the most dangerous species. In the galaxy, one that had nothing left to lose and everything to prove. The reckoning, the news of Kepler 442b, spread through the galaxy like wildfire, carried by encrypted communications, whispered conversations, and the stunned reports of surviving Syndicate forces. In the 3 months following the battle, the story had reached every human colony, every trading post, and every alien government in known space. Admiral Elena Vasquez stood in the command center of New Horizon Station, watching the holographic display that showed the positions of human settlements across 17 star systems. Each point of light represented thousands of lives, millions of people who had suddenly found themselves at the center of a galactic shift they never saw coming. Alina had spent 30 years in Earth's deep space fleet before accepting the position as coordinator of colonial defense. She was 54 years old, haired, and possessed of the kind of steady competence that inspired confidence in subordinates and fear in enemies. The GTF had classified her as a minor administrative functionary. They were about to learn how wrong that assessment was. Admiral, we're receiving priority transmissions from 12 colonies, reported Lieutenant Commander Marcus Thompson, her intelligence coordinator. Marcus had earned his nickname Ghost during covert operations in the Outer Rim, where his ability to appear and disappear had made him legendary among human operatives. What's the status, Ghost? Alina asked, her voice carrying the calm authority that had guided her through countless crises. The Syndicate is mobilizing. They're not just targeting isolated stations anymore. We're looking at coordinated strikes against major population centers. Marcus manipulated the holographic display, showing the movement of alien fleets throughout the sector. They're treating this as a species-wide threat now. Alina nodded grimly. The aftermath of Kepler 442b had been predictable. The Syndicate couldn't allow the story to spread unchanged. Their reputation as unstoppable raiders depended on the fear and submission of their victims. A single human research station destroying an entire assault force challenged the foundation of their power. "How many ships are we tracking?" Alina asked. 87 syndicate vessels, plus auxiliaries. "They're calling it Operation Final Solution." Marcus's expression was grim. "They plan to eliminate every human presence in the sector, then broadcast the results as a warning to other species." Alina studied the tactical display, her mind racing through possibilities and probabilities. 87 warships against scattered human colonies, most of which had minimal defenses. On paper, it looked like a massacre waiting to happen. But Alina had spent her career learning that paper and reality rarely matched. "What's our response capability?" she asked. "Officially, almost nothing. 23 patrol vessels, mostly converted cargo ships. Maybe 40 defensive platforms scattered across the colonies." Marcus paused, then continued with a slight smile. "Unofficially, we've been busy since Kepler-4 for 2 beat." Alina activated the secondary display, showing the true scope of human preparations. In the months since the first battle, every human colony had undergone rapid transformation. Mining equipment had been converted to weapons. Cargo ships had been retrofitted with military-grade systems. Most importantly, the scattered human settlements had begun coordinating their defenses. "The Syndicate is still thinking in terms of individual targets," Alina observed. "They don't understand that we're not just colonists anymore. We're a military force." The transformation had been remarkable. Dr. Sarah Chun's modifications to mining equipment had been shared across the colonies. Captain Rex Morrison's tactical innovations had been studied and improved. The victory at Kepler-442b had provided a blueprint for human defense that every settlement had eagerly adopted. "Admiral, incoming transmission from the GTF," reported Communications Officer Lisa Park. "Ambassador Kethver wants to discuss the human situation." Alina activated the COM channel. The holographic image of Ambassador Kethver appeared, the alien's reptilian features showing clear signs of stress. The GTF representative had been one of the authors of the original human assessment, and recent events had made him a figure of considerable embarrassment within galactic diplomatic circles. "Admiral Buscus Kethver began, his translated voice carrying undertones of barely controlled panic. "The Trade Federation wishes to discuss immediate relocation of human populations to protected worlds. The Syndicate threat requires no—" Alina interrupted, her voice cutting through the alien's prepared speech. "We're not evacuating. We're not relocating. We're fighting." Kethver's eyes widened. "Admiral, you don't understand the scope of the threat. The Syndicate is mobilizing their entire fleet. This isn't a raid. This is extermination." "Then they're going to be disappointed," Alina replied calmly. "We've been underestimated once. It didn't work out well for the people who made that mistake." The ambassador's image flickered with his agitation. "Your species classification specifically indicates our species classification is wrong," Alina said, her voice carrying the weight of absolute certainty. "It's been wrong from the beginning. The galaxy is about to learn what humans are really capable of." The transmission ended, leaving Alina and her staff to continue their preparations. The Syndicate fleet was 3 days away from reaching the first human colony. 3 days to implement a defense strategy that would either save humanity or witness its destruction. "Ghost, what's the status of the Prometheus network?" Alina asked. Marcus grinned, his expression carrying the satisfaction of a plan coming together. All stations are connected. Dr. Chun's modifications have been implemented across 17 colonies. We've got coordinated targeting systems, shared sensor networks, and synchronized response protocols. The Prometheus network was humanity's answer to the Syndicate's numerical superiority, named after the mythological figure who stole fire from the gods. The system connected every human settlement in a web of communication and mutual defense. When one colony came under attack, all colonies would respond. "Are we ready for field testing?" Alina asked. "As ready as we'll ever be," Marcus replied. "The Syndicate is expecting to fight individual settlements. They're going to face the entire human species." The first attack came against New Gibraltar, a mining colony on the edge of the sector. The Syndicate fleet emerged from hyperspace with characteristic arrogance. 15 warships against a single settlement of 3,000 humans. The alien commander broadcast the usual surrender demands, expecting quick compliance. Instead, he received a response that would be remembered throughout galactic history. "This is Colonel James Harrison, commanding New Gibraltar Defense Force. You are not welcome here. You will not be permitted to land. You will not be permitted to leave." The Syndicate commander's mechanical laughter echoed through space. "Human. You have no warships. You have no defenses. You have no hope." "We have something better," Harrison replied. "We have each other." The battle that followed redefined space combat. As the Syndicate ships approached New Gibraltar, they found themselves facing not just the colony's defenses, but coordinated fire from human settlements across 3 star systems. The Prometheus network had turned a local engagement into a sector-wide conflict. Modified mining platforms launched clouds of metallic chaff that confused Syndicate targeting systems. Converted cargo ships emerged from asteroid fields, their hulls bristling with improvised weapons. Most devastating of all, the humans had learned to use the Syndicate's own tactics against them. "Contact left, bearing 27 Mark IV," reported Commander Sarah Chen, now leading the Technical Warfare Division from her position aboard the converted freighter Defiance. Syndicate cruiser, attempting to flank the colony. Alina watched the tactical display from her command ship, observing the battle with the calm assessment of a career military officer. The Syndicate ships were individually superior, but they were fighting as individuals. The humans moved with coordinated precision, each ship supporting the others in a complex dance of mutual protection. "Ghost, initiate Protocol 7, Alina," ordered. Marcus nodded, his fingers dancing across the communication console. Across the battle zone, human ships suddenly changed their behavior. Instead of fighting defensively, they began to hunt. The converted cargo vessels, armed with mining charges and plasma cutters, swarmed the Syndicate cruisers like angry insects. The alien commander, watching his fleet being systematically destroyed by opponents he had dismissed as harmless, broadcast a desperate message to his superiors. "The humans are not what we were told. They fight like demons. They coordinate like machines. They sacrifice like fanatics." Alina intercepted the transmission, her response broadcast across all frequencies. "We fight like humans, and we're just getting started." The battle for New Gibraltar lasted 6 hours. When it ended, 13 Syndicate ships lay dead in space, their crews either killed or captured. The 2 surviving alien vessels fled in hyperspace, carrying news of another impossible human victory. But the victory at New Gibraltar was just the beginning. The Syndicate's main fleet, commanded by Overlord Dekmar himself, was still approaching. The heart of human space. 65 warships, the largest alien fleet ever assembled, driven by the determination to crush humanity once and for all. Alina stood in the observation deck of her flagship, watching the stars wheel past as the human fleet maneuvered to intercept the Syndicate force. Around her 37 human vessels moved in perfect coordination, their crews united by shared purpose and mutual respect. "Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from the Syndicate flagship," reported Communications Officer Park. Alina nodded. "Put it through." The holographic image of Overlord Dekmar appeared, his four arms spreading in a gesture of dominance. The alien leader was massive, his chitinous armor scarred from countless battles. His eyes burned with the fury of a predator who had discovered that his prey could bite back. Human Admiral Dekmar's voice carried the weight of absolute authority. "I am Overlord Dekmar, Supreme Commander of the Syndicate Fleet. Your species has committed acts of war against our people. You will surrender immediately, or we will glass every human world in the sector." Alina stepped forward, her posture reflecting the confidence of a commander who had never lost a battle. "Overlord Vekmar, I am Admiral Alina Vasquez of the Human Defense Fleet. Your forces have attacked our colonies, murdered our people, and threatened our children. You are not welcome in our space. You will leave immediately, or we will destroy every ship in your fleet." The alien's laughter was like grinding metal. "You command 37 vessels. I command 65. Your defeat is inevitable. Numbers don't win wars," Alina replied. "People do, and our people are ready to fight." The final battle began at 0800 hours, ship time. The Syndicate fleet approached in traditional formation, their warships arranged in a massive wall of steel and energy. They expected the humans to meet them in conventional engagement, ship against ship, strength against strength. Instead, they found themselves facing something entirely new. The human fleet scattered like startled birds, their ships diving into the asteroid field that surrounded the system's outer planets. The Syndicate ships followed, confident in their superior firepower and armor. They entered the asteroid field expecting to corner their prey. They found themselves in a trap. Alina had spent weeks preparing the battlefield, using human engineering skills to turn the natural terrain into a weapon. Asteroids had been hollowed out and filled with explosives. Hidden bases had been carved into the larger rocks. The entire field had become a maze of death, controlled by human operators who knew every passage and every hazard. "All ships, execute." "Maneuver Alpha," Alina ordered. The human vessels, guided by their intimate knowledge of the asteroid field, led the Syndicate ships deeper into the maze. The aliens, confident in their superior technology, followed eagerly. They were about to learn the difference between superior equipment and superior tactics. The first explosions came from within the Syndicate formation, asteroids that appeared. Naturals suddenly revealed themselves as massive bombs, their detonations tearing through alien hulls with devastating effect. The orderly fleet formation dissolved into chaos as ships tried to avoid the hidden dangers. "Ghost, initiate Phase 2, Alina commanded. From hidden bases throughout the asteroid field, human fighters emerged like angry wasps. These weren't military vessels, but converted mining craft and cargo ships, their crews driven by the memory of murdered families and destroyed homes. They swarmed the Syndicate ships, their improvised weapons carving through armor that had been designed to withstand conventional assault. Overlord Dekmar, watching his fleet being systematically destroyed, broadcast a desperate message. "This is impossible. You are primitives. You are harmless. Elena's response echoed through the battle zone. We were harmless. You changed that. We were peaceful. You ended that. We were isolated. You united us. Congratulations, Overlord. You've created the very enemy you sought to destroy. The battle raged for 12 hours. The Syndicate fleet, designed to overwhelm opponents through superior firepower, found themselves fighting an enemy that refused to follow the rules of engagement. Human ships appeared from impossible angles, struck with devastating precision, and vanished into the asteroid field before the aliens could respond. When the firing finally stopped, 47 Syndicate vessels lay dead in space. The remaining 18 ships, including Dekmara's flagship, hung powerless in the asteroid field. Their crews either dead or surrendering. Alina stood in the command center of her flagship, watching the tactical display show the complete destruction of the Syndicate fleet. Around her, her officers maintained their posts with professional competence, but she could see the satisfaction in their eyes. Admiral, we're receiving surrender signals from the surviving Syndicate ships, reported communications. Officer Park. Alina nodded, then activated the general communication channel. This is Admiral Alina Vasquez to all Syndicate vessels. You attacked our people. You murdered our families. You threatened our children. Your surrender is noted, but not accepted. You will be escorted to the nearest GTF facility for war crimes. Proceedings? The response from Vekmar's flagship was immediate and desperate. Admiral, we claim the right of honorable defeat. We are soldiers, not criminals. Soldiers fight soldiers, Alina replied. You targeted civilians. You are war criminals, and you will be treated as such. The aftermath of the battle sent shockwaves throughout the galaxy. The Syndicate, the most feared raiding force in known space, had been utterly destroyed by a species that had been classified as harmless. The GTF immediately began reviewing their assessment protocols, while other alien species started treating human colonies with newfound respect. Elena stood in the observation deck of her flagship, watching the stars that had witnessed humanity's transformation from prey to predator. The galaxy had ranked her species as harmless, and they had paid for that mistake with ships, crews, and their reputation for invincibility. Ambassador Kethper's image appeared on the communication screen, his reptilian features showing a mixture of fear and respect. Admiral Vasquez, the Trade Federation formally requests a meeting to discuss humanity's new status within the galactic community. Alina smiled, her expression carrying the confidence of a commander who had just rewritten the rules of galactic warfare. Ambassador, we'd be happy to discuss our new status. But understand this, we're not asking for recognition. We're not requesting membership. We're informing you that humanity has claimed its place among the stars. The transmission ended, leaving Alina alone with her thoughts. The galaxy had underestimated humanity, believing them to be weak, disorganized, and technologically inferior. They had been wrong on every count. Humans weren't weak. They were patient. They weren't disorganized. They were adaptive. They weren't technologically inferior. They were innovative. Most importantly, they weren't harmless. They were the most dangerous species in the galaxy precisely because they had appeared harmless until the moment they chose to reveal their true nature. Alina looked out at the stars, knowing that everything had changed. The peaceful research station at Kepler-4 for 2b had lit a fire that would burn across the galaxy. Humanity had announced its presence among the stars, not with diplomacy or trade, but with the simple, undeniable fact of their strength. The galaxy had ranked humanity as harmless. Now it would live with the consequences of that miscalculation. As human colonies spread across the stars and human ships patrolled the void between worlds, the universe had learned what happened when you underestimated the most dangerous species in existence, one that appeared harmless until the moment it chose to show its teeth. The age of human expansion had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same.